he and I started talking online through social media. And then we started talking on the phone, and I really enjoyed the friendship and the laughter. He started saying all the right things, and I fell for it. I started to love who he was portraying himself to be.
Christine may have been the wife that saved the bacon, but watching her eat a plate of nachos nearly doused Kody's growing affection for her.
Kody, there was a chili nacho cheese incident that nearly derailed this courtship.
I know, he was so silly.
Did you
How
even
could
realize
that cool down any relationship, please? Me wolfing down nachos, come on.
Kody wrote, Christine was the cutest girl in the world, although she was a little chubby.
I was pretty chubby.
But does size matter to you, Kody? I mean, were you grossed out by, you said she was chubby and she was eating the nacho cheese?
I will be honest, I was not attracted to Christine in any kind of physical sense. I mean, I look back in retrospect and I wonder, was that fair? But I can't even look there because we have children together, we have a life together, we have a relationship, and we found our sweet spot.
So you were not physically attracted to Christine?
That's an understatement.
You were grossed out by her?
I won't say that, but the nachos grossed me out enough to make me go, okay, I'm waiting to marry her.
How does it feel to hear
It
him
hurts,
say?
it's horrible. I didn't know that until recently.
I'm just being
And
honest.
so-
How do you all feel about this? I mean,
I
to
think
hear this, does it
sometimes-
concern you?
I think sometimes in relationships, you have to be careful when to be honest and how honest to be.
Did he just blow it right now by being too honest?
I'm just saying.
You know,
I mean, I think we all say things sometimes, trying to be honest and trying to be open.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think we go a little bit too far.
Some could take what you said when we did our interview here earlier, the nacho cheese incident, as being a little bit insensitive.
Well, you have to understand that I love Christine, and Christine and I have a beautiful relationship. It just didn't start out in your cliche romance style.
Do you regret saying what you said earlier to us today? Did she call you out on it after that interview?
I think it's a matter of just understanding. We've been processing a lot all of our lives and kind of understanding where we've been at. The whole nacho cheese thing, I mean, that was years before Christine and I got married. So that,
But it still hurt her hearing you say that. She said,
I said the
she
nacho
seemed to
cheese.
shut down right when you said that. In fact, all the other women kind of were like, oh no.
Well, I'm not sitting here rehearsing a line or stating a line that I've rehearsed. You asked me a question. I stated kind of where I was at the time.
Kody eventually got over the nachos incident, and his courtship with Christine resumed. In Becoming Sister Wives, he writes that while he wanted to prolong their engagement, his third wife-to-be wanted to get married as soon as possible, whether her groom was ready or not. Christine got her wish. They were married 6 weeks after getting engaged.
So you all were invited to take part in a panel discussion on polygamy. It was supposed to be a discussion, though I think some of you called it a debate. Let's take a look at what happened.
My experience in plural marriage has not been an easy one. It has been a challenge for us, but it has also been a blessed one.
One of the panelists is actually one of my mom's sisters, and she's there to talk about how she had this terrible experience living plural marriage.
When my husband started courting other women, my heart was broken. And when they drove off on their honeymoon, I was pretty much suicidal by then.
I'm the 5th child of 12, and my mom was the 7th wife out of 14. I grew up in an abusive lifestyle. My father ended up going to jail for child abuse. And sister wives are not friends. They hate each other.
You said sister wives hate each other. You said
I wasn't talking about you guys.
But do they know that? Does the world know that?
I was not trying to broad paintbrush you guys.
I've been where they're at. My husband didn't have 4 wives, but I know their emotions and their feelings.
Kristen, I am nothing like your husband.
I know
Let's
you're
start
not.
there.
We're out of time, and God willed it, I'm sure.
That was something. That's
was-
a
yes, it
lot
was
to talk
something.
about. But I want to start with you, Christine, and your aunt. Why were you so nervous to talk with her, to see her?
I am frustrated with her. She's so publicly against plural marriage, and here I am just trying to show that we're normal. She's fighting against me. I'm her niece. I spent so many summers at her house and hanging out at her house, and we had good talks, and I watched her dysfunctional marriage, and I knew her. And and there she is just fighting against me.
Robin, you were concerned that you and the wives and Kody would be ambushed there.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you think it might go down that way?
Typically when we have people that have left the community or left plural marriage, they're not there to find a happy medium. They're not there to find answers. They're there to say, you're wrong and your family needs to break apart, which is devastating to us.
Well, they had a bad experience in a marriage, and it feels to us that they're blaming that bad marriage experience on plural marriage.
Or at least with Kristen, with these kids, it's like we validate that they had a hard time. I mean,
We validate that there was abuse in the culture, that there was
Yeah.
abuse that happened to them.
right, and we're not saying these things don't happen in these communities or in plural marriage.
You're saying it doesn't happen in your home, which brings me to Colleen. We met her last season, but here she was on the panel.
I know, my heart just breaks for her. I mean, she really has had a tough go. And she came and met us last summer. I mean, at the end, it seemed like it was somewhat of a positive experience. And with seeing her on the panel and being so angry still, it was like, oh, her heart's just still breaking. It's just sad.
We're really good to validate that some people have horrible experiences, but they're not willing to validate that people have positive experiences.
But from the outside perspective, you're the only plural marriage family that I know.
Yeah.
Are you the norm, or are the men who've been accused and convicted in many cases of child abuse and spousal abuse, are they the norm?
From the families that we know, we are the norm.
Why aren't more families then speaking up?
Because it's scary to go public. When you are living and you are
scary.
taught from the very beginning to be afraid of the whole monogamous world, it's very scary and very vulnerable just to be open.
Before we even ended up needing to move to Las Vegas, and after we had gone public, I lost my job. I was fired. Kody lost accounts. And if plural families do that across the board, how are they going to support themselves?
Does it upset you that more families don't come forward?
It's not fair
I'm sad
for
for
me.
them.
It's not fair for me to actually put that on them, because it has to be a choice those families would make. But yeah, I feel a little bit alienated. I feel a little like nobody had my back. Like I stepped forward, and a couple other families did as well, and that was it.
Mariah is leaving, and you're transitioning to being the first sister wife with an empty nest. Why is it so difficult?
Because I'm trying to decide if now is a time, since Mariah is gone, that I go find myself, do something for me.
What do you mean, like skydive? And what are you talking about?
Maybe, I don't know. Just do something big and crazy and different.
This whole conversation makes me mad.
Really?
It does, yeah, because I feel like she's sitting there thanking us all for helping her raise Mariah, and I expect her to do the same thing for my kids.
But she's not sure that's her
I know.
role.
And I will.
What do you believe is going on here, Kody?
I think, I don't know for sure.
I don't believe you. So I know that you have some deep feeling about this. What's going on?
I actually understand on a level, or maybe I can't understand your experience with empty nest, but I am sorry about that. And we had tried plans. We had plans for a much bigger family, and those things didn't play out. But the alternative has been provided, and we have a very large family right here in a cul-de-sac. So I don't know if right now is the time to gallivant off and find yourself. We're adults. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Meri deserves a midlife crisis right now, because her daughter's left the nest. I don't understand personally, I struggle to relate to this when we have so much. I think you're, in a sense, transmuting a lot of the emotion regarding Mariah leaving and your sadness about that to your identity. And when you think about needing something else to replace Mariah,
It's right next door.
it's right here.
I don't need something to replace her, and I know that what I have here. I know that I have these kids and I'm not going anywhere, but that doesn't mean that I can't do something to build myself up too.
I validate that. I totally get that. But I also feel like when you talk about going and finding yourself, I hope it's not too far outside of the family. I'm serious, Meri, because I feel like that you have something to give to the kids that none of us can give.
Well, these things all sound good, but she's saying she hasn't absorbed this yet.
You guys, I have
getting through the
this.
transition.
I mean, I have this, and I'm not going to stop this kind of relationship with your kids. You know, I just wonder, Kody, you know, like if maybe if you would put it in perspective of, you know, if Janelle, passed away, or Robin passed away or something, would you miss them? Would you wonder what would you do, you know, with your life? Or would you just, all of a sudden, it's just these three, you know? It's like there's a hole there that you're gonna miss, and now what do you do with this relationship that you had that you don't anymore?
Right. But you do. Mariah is still on the phone with you all the time.
Next question, Tamron.
I just don't know where we're going with this. It's like, Tamara, I really think it's just a matter of, I think it's a matter of time. This is a matter of evolution. This is just an evolving. And I joked about the midlife crisis, but you know, that's fairly common amongst people who have a child leave.
I can totally understand the idea of going through the motions and the emotions of knowing or figuring out who you are, even if your daughter's not in the home at that moment, and figuring out what that whole means and who you are and everything. I can totally see missing her. I get that. I really can sympathize. I don't know what it's like, but I can sympathize.
But from the outside, I think this is when people wonder, why have a sister wife if you feel alone? I mean, from the outside.
Well, because everybody's going to feel alone sometime, no matter what. Everybody has their path and everybody has their journal.
But not everybody is surrounded by.
That's exactly why I'm sitting here, like stamping my foot.
Yeah, I know. I get
because
that.
I'm sitting here looking at you and I'm going, there are so many kids that still need love. There's still us. There's still relationships I know you want to build.
In plural marriage, if one of my wives is in charge, then the other wives are subordinate to her. And that wouldn't be appropriate in our relationships.
So if no wife can be in charge, does that mean you're in charge?
Yep, I guess I have to be.
But if you're not the most qualified, meaning if Janelle has a better business background and would serve as a better CEO, I'm just...
Sure.
If her skill sets are better at being the leader or the CEO, or if this is Robin's baby and this is something that she's fought for, why not have one of them be the CEO?
Why not?
You know, here's the thing. I want to say,
Why
you know,
not?
it's not so much that we're in charge. It's like we have what we would call a stewardship. Like it's like we have certain job things that we do. Like I prepare the financials. Really, a lot of the big decisions about our direction, how we're going to spend the money, it's all committee decision.
Of this group, the 5 of us, if you really want to qualify it, Kody is the leader. Hands down, without the personal relationships involved.
Well, that's interesting you say that.
He's the leader.
Well, it's interesting you think that. But during one of your marriage therapy sessions, we saw surprising outbursts.
Great.
Kody was very upset and
Do
said
I have to watch
he
this?
did not feel
I know.
in charge of the
It was
family.
a shock.
Ever. Have a look.
I've never been allowed to be in charge of this family. What the hell, are we going to really get me in charge of this business? Really? Are you guys am I going to be in charge? When have I been in charge of this family? When? When have we ever not made every single decision by committee? When?
But a CEO doesn't unilaterally rule. He takes all the consensus and makes a decision.
Sure.
How do you not do that right now in our family? You take all the information.
I don't feel like I've ever been empowered as the head of this family. Ever.
You know, this is supposed to be the tell-all. I need you to tell me everything that was going on.
Well, all right. I have felt for years now that I do lead, but it's always consensus. I see a path that I want to be able to go, and I will use the move, for example, our move to Nevada, because I personally feel like I knew what I needed to do, and I led, and it was successful, as sad as it was. And I had to go to each one of them to actually discuss and sell the issue. I had to go and listen, this is why we have to do this, and here are the reasons, and I love you and I need your support, and would you, is this okay? I'm literally asking permission from each one of them. And in our world, I think that that's fair leadership, but it's exhausting.
Are you a good leader?
I think I am a good leader because I do actually seek the consensus.
But it's the same thing that had you melting down
Yeah, it
on
stymies
camera.
us. I'm sorry, it is.
It is exhausting. It is exhausting.
Oh, we give him a hard time. I mean, I'm going to be the first to admit that we give him crap.
As far as who's the boss, do you really want to be the boss?
Ooh, awkward silence.
Do I really want to be the boss?
Yeah. You want to be the boss?
You want to be the boss?
To me, it's not a matter of wanting to be the boss. If I wanted to be the boss all the time, I'd have married different women.
Talk to me a little bit about why it's so important for Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna to have the Brown last name.
You know, it's something that Dayton or Brianna have said to me on a regular basis. I wish that my last name was Brown. And it's been sort of a frustrating thing for them.
So Kody, let me hear from you as the man who has stepped in to be their father.
I've always been there for them emotionally. I've supported them financially. I've done everything that a father does. I've loved them. It's not even about the last name, though. We're at a point now where if Robin was to pass, there is nothing I could do but allow them to leave my life. And I would have no claim legally to have any even visitation or anything.
But there are some challenges there. What are they?
The main thing is simply just being able to make the legal step to say, we want to adopt children.
So Meri came up with a radical solution, one that would impact the entire Brown family. Let's take a look.
I just had an appointment with the lawyer.
Okay.
I was talking to him about getting a legal divorce. Yeah. So that you guys can get married and then try to adopt the kids.
God, I got it.
Are you sure?
It's just something I've been thinking about for a long, long time.
Meri, that was not an easy decision. I mean, you're tearing up now. Where did this come from?
I know how Kody is with his kids and with his family. Those kids are part of our family, and they need to be completely.
But in that scene, I was hearing what Meri was saying. I was trying to separate myself from that cultural word of divorce.
When we were sitting there having that conversation, he must have asked me 5 times or more. But we're still married, right? This isn't going to change anything. And I started getting a little bit irritated with him. I'm like, no, sorry. I'm like, why are you asking me this? It's not going to change anything.
Why were you insecure at that point?
Because of the word divorce. It was like shattering glass to me. And so I had to maneuver around the word to find the purpose and the fact that we'll still be married.
And just really clarify. I
was
think
really
he was just really wanting to make sure that I was not wanting to divorce him.
Well, there were 2 more wives to consider in all of this. Let's see what happened.
I just wanted to let you know that I am divorcing Kody legally. so that Robin can marry him and then adopt the kids.
See, look at her jaw on the floor.
Really? Jeez, Mer.
Yep.
That's really, really beyond sweet of you. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Could you have waited till the first of the year? The taxes are now due. Sorry, but I'm like, oh, holy hell. Now what? Do you know what I mean?
Taxes.
Sorry, it's the only thing I can think to say, because I'm sort of here like in shock. But now all of a sudden I'm trying to find the logical ground to hold on to, because I can't. I got to hold on to something logical.
Oh, that's just funny to know. So.
How do you think, Elsa?
I'm not going to comment on it. That's all I'm going to say. It's about the taxes.
Janelle, you had very little to say.
I was in shock. I couldn't even form a thought.
Were you suffering from the, if you can't say something nice, don't say something at all?
No, that wasn't it at all. It really was not. It really was, you know, you have to know, I love Robin's kids as much as my own. See, I don't cry. I really could not think of anything to say. I could not. And that's why when our producer said, do you have anything to say? I'm like, I can't speak right now. I could think of one stupid, logical thing to say, and that was the only thing.
Which was the taxes.
Yeah, and it's so dumb, and I'm like, why did you say that? But it was like I was grabbing for like the logical thing to think about.
Do you have any concerns beyond the children, and more so concerns about you as Kody's spiritual wife, Christine as the spiritual wife, and the change of this license?
You know, I mean, it changes the reality of it. It
what
does.
do you mean by that?
It just changes what is. It just changes the way things are.
It changes the agreements that you guys made in the beginning.
It changes the agreements. What does that mean?
Well, when these guys came together, the agreement was Meri's the first wife and she has a legal marriage. And now we're all changing that, and I think we're all kind of going, okay, does this change anything else?
You will have people who say, now that Robin has the legal title, that gives her more power. That's how they will process this. How do you explain that, Kody?
Ridiculous.
This is really about one single thing, and that one single thing is having our family be organized the way we want it to be, and have those children adopted, and have the ability to have them safe at home without worry about somebody taking them where they don't want to go.
So Kody, are there any ramifications from this? Because the idea is to legally marry Robin to be able to adopt the children. Is that a guaranteed plan?
It's not a guaranteed plan, but it's the best first step, I think.
As far as the adoption is concerned, we have several walls. And Kody and I being legally married
What's the first one?
is the very biggest wall there is. The second one would be my ex and what he would do with this idea of Kody trying to adopt the kids. And the third one would be the judge. And what is the judge going to allow this to happen? And that would be his final say. So we have some major hurdles still in front of us.
There are no guarantees here.
There is no guarantees.
No.
There's no guarantees.
Has anything changed in your family?
Nothing's changed.
I beg to differ.
What do you think's changed?
I think it's better. I do. I feel like that my relationship with Kody has gotten better since
you divorced him?
Since I divorced him. I witnessed to that. I agree. I've noticed that.
Cody.
I'm just gonna say, to be fair, that wasn't because of what we did. That's the natural ebb and flow in relationship. And Meri and I are on upswing right now, and I doubt that this divorce experience ever had an effect on that personally.
No, I think it did. I really do.
Really?
I think that going through a struggle with something, you really have to lean on each other. You know, I think that, you know, you just have to pull together.
Well, you all have bonded over this, but how, show of hands, who's concerned about the perception?
The perception of the outside world.
I worry. I do.
To hell with them. I do not care.
I understand, and I feel
Sorry,
the same.
I'm not going to even.
I feel the same, but I do worry. That's why I don't want anyone to underestimate the sacrifice that Meri's made. I don't want anyone saying Robin's been promoted or whatever. That absolutely, that is my biggest worry.
Or that Kody and Robin pushed it on me. That's because that wasn't ever the case.
Oh my gosh, that's the funniest thing in the world.
That is never the
something on
case.
Well, throughout the interview, we've certainly heard from the critics out there, but there are viewers who see the positive in your lives. And Brenda W. on Facebook wrote, "I love this family, ups and downs, just like every family, and they have raised a wonderful bunch of kids."
Just a few days before I was to sit down with the Browns, shocking news broke. Meri had been catfished. Unbeknownst to Kody and her sister wives, she had engaged in an online relationship. Meri believed it was with a man named Sam, but now it appears Sam may not exist, and the person behind him may actually be a woman.
Well, Meri, I want to talk to you about something that I know is difficult. Your eyes are already tearing up. It's been revealed that you had an online connection with someone who may not have been who you thought. Tell me what happened.
How much time do you have?
I've got as much as you need.
Last time we were here, it was about that time that the legal divorce between Kody and I had been made public. And throughout that month, all of us were getting bombarded with questions of what's going on. You know, did Meri divorce Kody? Why did Meri divorce Kody? And lots and lots and lots of comments to me cheering me on that I had finally left him.
This online?
Online, yeah. It was all social media. And I guess I just kind of got into this vulnerable state where I was open to friendships and relationships outside of my family, outside of my safety zone. And people started reaching out to me, and there's this one particular person who did reach out to me, and he and I started talking online through social media, and then we started talking on the phone, and I really enjoyed the friendship and the laughter. He started saying all the right things. He started saying very flattering comments and expressing affection and love to me. And I fell for it. I started to love who he was portraying himself to be.
Looking back at how this all started, you pointed out, you know, the laughter, the compliments. Was that something that was missing in your relationship with Kody?
I think that was something when I first started talking to this person. I was open to the friendship and the laughter.
What can you tell me about the voicemails and letters between you and this person? Are you able to tell me anything about them?
You know, through the course of our phone conversations, he would tell me things like, I want you to call me and leave me messages and tell me, you know, how you feel, or tell me you know, all these certain things, and he was specific about things that he wanted me to say. And
he wanted you to say on the voicemail that you were in
he
love.
wanted me to express, you know, how much I loved him and how much I cared for him.
How long did this go on?
I talked to him for quite a while, but it was early on that I started seeing cracks in his story and things were not making sense. And he started pushing more and more for a more serious relationship at the same time as subtle threats of, you know, of a friend of his and what she could do, and as far as being a self-proclaimed hacker, being very technologically savvy.
What were the threats, Meri?
He would say things about his friend that you don't ever want to cross her. I eventually met her in real life. I never did meet him. But I met her, and she would do things like placing her phone on my phone and say that she could get all the information from my phone. And I made the decision to distance myself from my friends and even my family, because I felt like I had to protect them until I could get to a place that I could safely get out of the situation.
So you were not telling any of the family, you, in a sense, all alone, and you were receiving threats from these people.
Mm-hmm.
And you believed that they would destroy your family.
I was scared of what they could do, because they were showing it.
So you felt that these were not idle threats, that these people could act on what they said?
I felt very threatened by them. And then, you know, there was times that I would be at a store and he would call me and start talking to me and then just say, "Are you at such and such store?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how do you know that?"
You're very emotional. I think you wear your feelings on your sleeve. To live with that fear, how did you manage to conceal it?
I felt like I had to.
To set the record straight, Meri, was there any physical relationship with this person?
No. I never met this person. I've never met this person. I've never seen him. I've never seen, you know, the pictures that he sent to me were of an actor.
It's no secret that Meri and Janelle have had a sometimes difficult relationship. Last season, we saw Janelle reach out to her sister wife to work on their issues. But will we finally see them truly come together? Let's take a look.
I think it's a good time for us to start working on things. Otherwise, we could just be neighbors, you know? We live in houses next door to each other and just don't interact or, you know, do anything with each other.
Meri and I had such different personalities that from the minute that I came into the family, it was pretty rocky.
Before Janelle and I got married, it's possible that Meri started feeling more and more territorial, becoming a little more clingy. I wasn't really cognizantly aware of these things until later on in our, you know, after I had married Janelle.
So, Janelle, you say it was tough from the beginning.
I think it was really just, we were dealing with such a contrast in personalities, and it just created friction, and we just didn't know what to do with it.
I think our most important thing at the time was the kids.
Like
this relationship, we're like, well, let's make it work, but the focus was the kids.
Do you consider yourselves friends, Meri?
I think so, yeah.
You had spent this long time where it was just you and Kody, Is that part of what made it difficult in the beginning?
I think when you make an adjustment to your family, there's going to be, a difficult period.
Rebuilding the relationship would not be easy or a quick fix, but luckily for them, Nancy was ready with a memorable role-playing session. Time to revisit that one. Let's take a look.
Just speak as Meri, you speak as Janelle.
I gave it my best shot. I tried to act like Meri. When I want to talk about something and you just shut down, I just think that you're just not interested in what I have to say, or you're not paying attention to me because you just sit there. You just sit there and you just blow me off.
Was that you being me?
Yeah.
After Janelle gave it her best shot of portraying me, I attempted to portray her. I just don't want to talk. And I don't want to deal with it.
It's very painful to watch people imitate you, and then it's also very painful to watch the reactions of the person being imitated. It's very, very revealing, but it is very hard.
Very hard.
Oh my gosh, it's the thing we hate the most that our counselor does with us. They're like, why don't you role play each other? And we're like, oh, because it's really,
it's effective.
It's effective.
Janelle, do you feel that you found a way to deal with or to work around these style differences?
The big breakthrough this year is recognizing, at least for me, that there is a difference and that the difference is okay. I used to always feel like this person who was being so aggressive, that wasn't okay. I perceived it as aggressive. She's just like,
She perceived it as honest.
Yeah, so and it wasn't aggressive. It was just my perception. So I think for us, the breakthrough this year was recognizing that we have personality differences and we communicate differently. And now we go from there and try to figure out how to make it even better.
Earlier this year, Meri met with Kody to talk about her relationship with Mariah, but the conversation quickly turned to the state of their own relationship. Let's take a look.
I feel like that she's blocking me emotionally. I feel like she's almost very disrespectful to me.
Okay.
I'm almost at the point that I want to have an intervention with her and say look, deal with it, figure it out, and let's fix this. But I know that's not going to work. I'd like to do that with you too. But I know it's not going to work.
You want to have an intervention with me?
Yeah, just say let's figure this out. Let's quit fiddle farting around.
You're talking about, let's stop fiddle farting around. What are you referring to, Meri? Do you think there's something that we need to do specifically that's different than what we're doing?
Yeah. Are you okay with what we're doing?
Well,
I'm sorry, you know me. I'm just let's just do it and let's just fix it. Let's fix the problem. Let's address it and fix it and move forward. That's just how I am. I feel in a very similar place with my relationship with Kody and with Mariah, because I'm sitting here wanting to do something about it and it doesn't feel like that they do.
Meri, do you feel like you're in a place now where everyone trusts you?
I don't know how they feel about me. I know that there's been a lot of stuff, going both ways, just kind of all around where we don't have as much trust as we could.
Do you all trust Meri?
I think it's something that I trust her way more than last year. I know without a doubt 100% if my kids need anything or if I need to take care of something like that, I can rely on Meri. So for the most important stuff, I know that she has my back.
But I feel like, Meri, there's been a definite change. Where you used to be so distant and you didn't, I don't know, you didn't seem very attached. I mean, you're definitely involved now like you used to be.
The kids notice too. They notice too that you're more involved and you're like, hey, I'm back, let's play.
Robin, how do you feel?
Oh yeah, that's definitely, I agree with what these guys are saying. It's definitely a thing where I can tell that she's that you're hey, let's figure this out. Yeah.
Kody, what are your thoughts?
What literally happened here was a wake-up call for us. But we've had to honestly change our relationship altogether. We've sort of turned it upside down. We can't be who we were before, because for nearly a decade, we deceived each other about what our relationship was.
You know, I wanted to say though, I'm really, really glad you guys are sticking it out, because I was very worried, Meri, you know, that you guys were gonna do something drastic. But I'm glad you guys stuck it out.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's in my dark place, my darkest place, where I was considering what my options were. And there was many options, and one of them was, you know, to leave, because I wasn't happy with him, my relationship with Kody, and even with some of my sister wives. And that was an option, but I always came back to, well, we've got this family, we've got these kids, and I care about those kids more than I care about, well, I can't say more than, but I really care about those kids, you know?
I think the main thing that my goal would be is that nobody in our family is shackled to me or to everybody else, that we live here and we are in a relationship that we choose to be in simply out of choice, out of desire to be together, out of desire to work it out. There won't be any prisoners in our cul-de-sac. Neither our children, us, you know, so we have to work these things out. And I believe you guys agree with me, there won't be any shackles here. Polygamy already has a stigma of that. And we're just not going to play that. But any of my wives are free to just, hey, I'm done with you guys, see you later. But
on the flip side, I've heard you say, look, I'm really committed to this relationship. And I mean, I've heard that so many times from you, even
well, I think
when we
that
had
was the part that goes unsaid, but yes, we can say it. But that goes unsaid. I think the
Well, I've heard you say it. You've actually said it to me. When we were in some dark places, you're like, look, I'm committed. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
Meri, when you hear Kody talk like that, you know, no shackles and you're free to go, do you think today about ever leaving or?
No, I don't, because I know what I would like, and I have the hope that it'll come back around.
In an emotional exchange, the serious problems with which Meri and Kody were dealing were on full display as Kody revealed an eye-opening detail about their relationship. Let's take a look.
Well, Meri asked me to stop staying at the house.
Her house, right?
Yeah.
What's going on here? I mean, I know you don't want to talk about it, but is there anything that you can talk about?
Nope.
I mean, are you hopeful about being able to sort this out?
I'm working very hard not to be hopeless. You're acting like somehow or another I've abandoned you. You told me to go away.
Kody, you know why.
This is why we need to go talk to Nancy, because I don't know why. No, it's not clear. I'm sorry, it's not clear.
Kody, I need to be able to come to you with something that I need, even if it's just a ladder, or even if it's just trying to figure out the sprinkler system, without you saying, I can't do it. Without you saying, it's just too much for me. Figure it out yourself. I'll talk to you about it later. And then you never come talk to me about it later.
Meri, you seem to know what the problem was. Kody seemed to not know what the problem was. What is the problem?
When I said that he's not around, I still need him around for little things. Moving a ladder, helping me do something that I can't do by myself. You know, I want to have conversations with him, and that's what I'm saying. I need you around for these things. I didn't feel like that we were having any interaction.
Meri, you had asked Kody to stay away. There was that moment where you were saying, you're the one who told me to stay away. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we say that, and we, as women, I don't know about you, but you say it, and then you kind of want the guy to come back. Did you kind of want Kody to fight for you and come back, or did you really mean it?
Go ahead.
He looks like he wants to answer. The thing is...
For a month, she said, what are you doing here? For 3 months, she said, what are you doing here? I've asked you to leave. What are you doing here?
Oh, so you meant it.
So I sat there and I went, well, you can't kick me out of my own home. What's going on here? And finally, I got the message.
And I felt like I needed space until we were ready. And that's, you know, that's the thing that I said to him. Can you just give us a break until we're ready to come back together and figure things out?
Can I ask you guys a question? Why did you two fall in love in the first place?
Well, he was pretty good looking, I thought.
I saw those pictures.
No, I mean, you know, when we were young, you know, I loved having the conversations. He had these dynamic conversations, and he was just like happy about life. And I loved being around him, you know, when he was like that.
And Kody, what was it about Meri?
She looked at me with respect and adoration, and you know, I like that. We're going to build a family together, and we're going to have this wonderful experience. There was a myriad of things that I fell in love with. For me, mostly her kindness and her sincerity. So.
Kody talked about the family again, and that's something that you've talked about before. Sometimes Kody seems more into the family than the relationships.
What? The family's the main focus of Kody, for sure. And there's several times where I'm like, yes, but I want it about me right now. Can we just talk about me right now? And he doesn't always see that eye to eye very much.
Kody, you said that you're trying not to be hopeless.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've been able to get away from hopeless, or is it still feeling that way?
No, I don't think that it's hopeless. It's simply, you know, it's when you're at this impasse in your life, you're not at a romantic state. You're not sitting there like you were when you were first courting and when you were newlyweds.
See, and I think both of us have a lot of trust to build with each other, you know, because we've done and said things with each other that has damaged that. So that's kind of, I think, what we're working on.
What kind of reaction have you gotten? Or do people want you to stay with Kody and the family, or do people not want you to?
People in the family? I think people in the family do.
Yeah,
well,
no,
this family I feel like definitely wants it. But
all of our extended family the same way. We've got everybody rooting for us.
What about on social media? The
Social
viewers,
media is
what do they want?
Pretty split. I'm going to tell you an experience that I had. I was in a place. I was with a friend of mine just recently, and a stranger came up and she said, "So are you still with Kody?" And I said, "Oh yeah, we're fine, you know, whatever." And she says, "Oh, darn it. I was really hoping that you had left." And I looked at her. I know my mouth was gaping open. I looked at her and I looked at my friend and I said, "I don't even know how to respond to that."
How would you feel if something like that did happen?
Like if Meri...
what if it was true? How would you feel about that?
Well, it wouldn't be a good thing. It wouldn't. If she was happy, there might be something okay, but that's a shatter to our family. That's a shatter to me. Here's the thing. I'm afraid to say that would affect my ego at this point more than it would affect how I feel. And so you got to understand, 2 years ago, I was in that place. She was leaving as far as I understood. I just remember her, here's my hand, talk to that, because I am gone.
In a Sister Wives Tell-All First, we ask Kody to leave the set so Meri, Janelle, Christine, and Robin can tackle the most sensitive topics that are challenging their relationship as sister wives.
So now's your chance to say anything you want about Kody. When Kody's not with you, how does it change the dynamic?
He's not here to be so serious. So we can goof off a lot more when he's not here. Because he tends to be really, really serious and a bit of a buzzkill, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, on that note, the house in Parowan brings up a tough issue that the Browns can no longer ignore: Meri's role in the family. Will the B&B bring them closer together or pull Meri even farther away? Let's take a look.
So you've been struggling to find your place in the family. There is a factor here with you not being very involved, and this will make you not very involved.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah, no, she needs to be more involved. Flat out, she needs to be more involved. She does. She needs to ask what she can do to help. She needs to say, hey, can I be part of this? She needs to put herself out there to be more involved because she's not. So
Okay,
fine.
so Meri
Call it
shows
an
up
argument.
late and she leaves early.
She's on her phone the whole time.
And I know we have arguments back and forth a little bit occasionally about, you know, like, am I involved with the kids, or what my role is with the kids, or do I really have kids, or am I really an empty nester? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I am an empty nester. I am. I don't have kids that are dependent on me. I mean, we talk about it all the time, you know, about me being more involved with the kids. And I'm not going to go into their home and take care of their kids for them. I mean, that's just not going to happen.
I know this is difficult for everybody to discuss. Meri, you've said that you've often felt attacked for not being more involved in the family, but that it should be a two-way street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I hear them say, we want you involved, we want you here, and part of me is thinking, I am involved, I come to family events, I'm not on my phone all the time, you know, I am here, and I've said like multiple times, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. It's hard, you know, it's hard because my relationships aren't where I want them to be, but I'm here, I'm involved.
Do you agree with Meri that she's at the family events, and do you see it through the same eyes?
Meri says a lot, I don't know what my role is in the family. And she says, I don't know where I belong, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, kind of a thing. And we're like, you belong right here. Just insert yourself. You're a cornerstone of this foundation, and you always will be as long as you want to be.
Mm-hmm. It's hard because not only are you, as you said, an empty nester, and you all are still very involved with kids at home,
right?
But also your issues with Kody.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you just keep becoming like more alienated because of the situation you're in?
I don't feel like I'm being alienated at all. I think I'm just trying to figure out, like, I guess what my role is, because things are so different with me and Kody, you know.
Yeah. Robin, how do you feel about the B&B situation?
It was like nice to see her focus on something that she was really excited about and happy about. And then it was like also a concern because I felt like we lost her.
How did you deal with that?
So it was a situation where we were just like going, look, we don't want you to pull yourself away more by, you know, getting so wrapped up in this project. Yeah, that's always a concern.
Meri, how does that make you feel that Robin seems to care so much about not losing you? I mean, that was really obvious on her face right now, but that she wants you to be a part of this family.
Yeah. I've never doubted that she wanted me a part of the family. That hasn't ever been a question to me. She's made it abundantly clear.
Like, as I'm listening to Robin, I'm thinking this is somebody who wants you here. And I would imagine the same goes
Yes, no, I can't
for you
imagine not having you around, Meri.
It's not a possibility that we're going there.
No, I haven't ever doubted that they wanted me here. I think it's just been a question of you know, how to do it, how to be comfortable in, I guess, our new family structure.
and just figuring out what that is and how to do it.
You know, I can't even imagine how awkward the situation is that you're in. I can't. You're shouldering a hell of a fight right now, and Kody is too. You guys are trying to figure that out, and I've seen progress. Like, I really have. I have seen you're no longer antagonistic to each other. And you actually have cordial conversations. No, look, it's a small movement, but it's huge, really, like as far as where you were. So I'm glad you're sticking it out, because this is worth fighting for. I feel like we should put our hands together and do like a power bomb.
Just do it.
Do
your power bomb.
No, I am. I'm really grateful that the two of them are still saying, yeah, okay, we'll keep working on it. Yeah. I'm grateful that the two of them are still fighting for it. Because it's tough. It's tough having a cornerstone, basically, of our family in this place.
Well, you just said, like a minute ago, you said, so get back together.
Yeah.
Do you want to see
You don't
Kody
have to tell me that.
and Meri back together?
I'm going to be honest, you both need to work on it.
Oh, I didn't say that I didn't need to work on it.
Okay.
But the both of you guys are trying, and that in and of itself keeps you from moving too far away from that path. Is that fair?
Yeah. I think, first of all, we have a commitment to a marriage. But what we've had to do is really discover our new baseline. Every marriage has a baseline, you know, and it gently changes through the years for most people. Well, Meri and I had an abrupt change. With different culture, different religious values, we might have just gone, you know. But we've been fortunate enough to be blessed to be part of a family that is its own culture. And so we continue to move forward working on that. We are steadily moving in just a direction where we're just fully mended.
I look forward to that. You know, he was saying that, you know, he felt like that we had an abrupt change. I don't feel like that we had an abrupt change. I really don't. I feel like the realization of it was probably abrupt, but I think that it was like moving in not a positive direction for a really long time prior to the realization.
I agree.
So
So the abrupt change was actually just an abrupt realization.
Yeah. And I think from that point, you know, he and I, and possibly everybody, had to like figure out like what we really wanted, you know, and then like move forward from there.
Yeah.
This is like the new beginning. The past is gone.
Yeah. It's like you have to like figure out a way almost to like just cut it off and just be dead. I honestly have had to like mourn what is gone.
Meri's very nostalgic. So I'm just looking at a future.
And I'm looking at a future as well. I am, you know, and I have a lot of hope for, you know, what could be.
I was so very present when the two of them were mourning the relationship loss. And it affected us so much.
It affected the family.
Our relationships don't exist in vacuums. Like, our one relationship definitely affects all the others. It's 100%. Because there's so many levels of relationship here. Meri is part of the fabric of the lives of my kids, and she's been there since the beginning, and like nobody could, you know, like, so it's so deep. It's so much deeper than just the husband and wife relationship.
Yeah, I've told Meri before so many times, I can't do this family without you. So yeah.
Yeah. Are you guys spending more time together and creating this, I don't know, this new relationship forward?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
He actually called me the other day. I was in the middle of work. It was the day before we were leaving out of town for something. And he's like, do you want to go to dinner? And I'm like, I'm so busy with work, but yes, I am going to grab hold of this. I ended up pulling an all-nighter because I had work that I had to get done.
Oops,
but
I didn't know that it was going to be so.
I don't care. I will, you call me, I'm there, baby.
Well, I'll call again then.
Thank you. You guys all heard it.
It's almost like they're dating again. You know what I mean?
Isn't that the great thing?
That is exactly what it is. We are dating. We literally got to a place, it just got nasty. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm done. We're not going to do that anymore. And I'm not forgetting about the good times, but I am cutting off everything that was the past, and it's a new date. It's a new girlfriend. It's a new person. And we have a history and we also know each other.
Sometimes watching it, the sort of like physical closeness of you two can create an awkwardness. Has that gone away?
No. Or yeah, the physical, the awkwardness, I think, sorry.
I think the awkwardness is still there sometimes.
I think it's awkwardness like a new dating couple. Moving away from Las Vegas and moving here helps us in the process of that dating because we can like literally let all that go.
It's like a new setting. And I feel like that in a lot of different things that we're doing.
Previously, the family discussed one of the most contentious moments of the season. Meri's pursuit of her family home.
My loan was approved.
You got the down payment money too?
No, that's what I need to talk to you about too. We're just waiting for money.
We just don't have it. I'm a little frustrated because it seems very selfish to me. She can't understand the needs of the rest of the family. At the time, it was like one of these things that I have a much bigger picture to deal with, and this is one of those things that just really is more like an irritation to me. It's something that doesn't look right to me and didn't pass my sniff test, and I'm just like, Meri, you do your thing and you can do it. At the time, very different view.
So are you good with me?
You are living here in Flagstaff. We didn't know Meri, and as much as you said it, we didn't know. We're here in Flagstaff, and the B&B is where your mother lives. In a nutshell, it always looked like to me that you were going to leave.
That's why you're frustrated with the whole thing. I'm just now understanding this.
Yeah, well, not just that, I thought it was a bad investment. So at the time, there were other factors involved as well. So you were looking at it very differently than I was. And you know, it's funny, I mean, I think we've worked this out. You were looking at it as, I've got to get this back in my family. I was looking at it as...
Meri's looking for an out.
And if she's not, it's still a really bad investment, is how I viewed it.
Right. But I think that that's interesting, though, that you guys are coming to even more clarity around it. You know, as you continue to peel back the layers in this new space, right?
We've had this conversation before meeting with you.
She just said, oh, I'm hearing something, you know, in a different way.
We've discussed this. We discussed this
but you
before.
Can, yeah, you can
that
say...
you thought that I was...
At the
you
time...
You really thought that I was leaving. And that's why I was wanting it. It's so funny because we have these conversations because I said over and over and over and over to them, that's not why I'm getting it.
Yeah.
You know, so. Yeah.
But at that time, there was tension in the family, there was stress in the family, we were sort of struggling and stuff like that. And so maybe you were saying that, but like on a relationship level, you felt distant. So maybe that's just kind of was like, okay, what does this mean exactly?
Let's put this to bed now. I'm glad she has it. It's in the family. I'm not saying that it was a great investment, but it was very special to her.
Still has to have.
I'm not trying to jab. I gotta look like it. You know, it's I gotta protect my.
Just drop it, man. Drop it.
No, that's not the last word issue. The last word issue is that I'm glad she has it in the family, and I'm glad that you're here in Flagstaff.